Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 25-year-old from Wawa, Ontario, Canada. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada, the USA, and Denmark, a staple of the Huron-Perth Lakers and another Stratford Carlton, and yet another Ferris State Bulldog. But before that, with the Carltons, named league's best D-man and was on the first team All-Star. Also, before Ferris was a CCHL champion with Carlton Place Canadians, and Ferris was a third-team All-Star, dominated the classrooms as a two-time All-Academic, and is a WCHA champion, and is the new big signing for the Esbjerg Energy in Denmark. Welcome to the podcast, Riker Killins.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. That's a great interview.
So, I get into how we know each other. I don't know if we've ever talked to each other before.
I don't think so, no. Maybe briefly at arena once or twice, but...
Well, would you have happened to be in Godrich skating with like McFadden and the O'Reillys when some short, fat guy showed up?
I think I was there. I think me and Garrett maybe went once or twice. That was a long time ago, though.
I know. You guys were like still, you were a college kid.
Yeah, I don't think I went in college. I spent my 4 years actually at Ferris in the summers. I think it would have been like maybe when I was in Stratford, I went out.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I only went out a few times the one summer when I had moved to Kincardine, but that's how else we know each other is you live around Kincardine, eh?
Yeah, actually, we just got a house out in Point Clark now, so I'm a little outside Kincardine. But yeah, we've been in Kincardine since I was in 9th grade, so that's when we moved there.
9th grade, Point Clark. That is right by my sister's cottage, Lurgan Beach.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah, it sure is. Okay, so then the other part of how we would know each other is I've skated with you one time. Did you know that? It was with the Ripley Wolves. Mid-pandemic. I had been a recent cut of the Ripley Wolves, and then after things had settled down and they had planned like a scrimmage skate, you were on the other team. I lasted 2 shifts, had back spasms, and went home.
That's probably why I don't remember.
Yeah, no, I was trying to let the boys know I was over it, and I was still buddies with them, so I showed up and skated with them. And it was a bad decision.
Yeah, I know that. The pandemic was a little crazy, so it was actually kind of nice to get out on the ice with you guys and, kind of get ready to figure out where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing yet, so.
Yeah, I wasn't out with them anymore. That was just one scrimmage, but I do got to say thank you to their new coach for the Ripley Wolves, Ron Sale. He's like my mentor in the real world in my business life. He's been like my mentor, and guess the day I met him around Kincardine changed my path. But anyways, cheers to Superheat. I haven't had any complaints for doing this, and they trust me to get my job done. I just got my real world review, and it went very, very well. So obviously I can juggle both, folks, so don't worry about it.
Your cat.
So anyways, and then I guess I'm not going to get emotional this time because I've brought it up now 3 or 4 times, but the other guy, the reason why we know each other is Garrett Muirs, right?
Yeah, Garrett, he's been a good friend of mine, and obviously he is married to Jenna, which, hearing the news of the accident was a couple of weeks ago was tough to hear, but hoping for a speedy recovery with her. And I'm also really good friends with her brother, Austin. So, just keeping in touch with him and making sure everything's going well with him also.
Yeah. So folks, anybody listening out there, my last jersey that had hung in my closet for 5-6 years is now up for raffle on my website. That these volunteers that love the pod are so nice to do all this stuff for me. They've built me a website, and now it can help Jenna and Garrett. So please go to my website, buy raffle tickets, either for my jersey. We've also been donated a Gratz 99ers full team signed jersey. That is way cooler than my jersey, folks. So buy tickets for that. And Steven Dixon's jersey. And I know everybody loves Spitting Chicklets. He's even been on there. So buy some tickets for his jersey, okay? There's 3 of them up at aleshockeytales.com. Don't be punks. Buy some tickets, even if it's for my jerseys and Dickos, okay? Because it's helping the Muirs and their beauties. And they got a little 3-month-old, right?
Yeah, that's great stuff that you're doing, especially with the hockey world. You realize how close knit it actually is. You're getting jerseys from everywhere, it seems like.
I didn't know how small it was until I came out to my shed and started crushing beers. To be honest, like I didn't realize how intertwined it is until you start asking around and like, yeah, it's very strange. And thank you to everybody. It makes my heart want to explode when like today I just looked at the raffle and this jersey that was collecting dust and probably was never going to be worn again. Now that I'm out in my shed and have this platform, sold 200 tickets at £2 a piece for the Muirses. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
And the other reason we know each other, I believe, is you are like pretty well everybody else in my honey holes in Europe. Your agent, David Amonte.
Yes, sir. That's him. That's the GOAT.
How long have you had him for?
So I work with his North American guy, PJ Sullivan. I got him, I want to say after my first little stint of pro after college, I signed with PJ. And then I started getting to know David once we started talking about going over to Europe in a couple of years. And, this summer, I might have been a pain in his ass a little bit, texting him so much because I didn't know what was going on. But, he found a great spot for me here in Esberg. And, I couldn't be happier. So, he works hard, definitely.
He does give her. Yeah.
He knows
I wouldn't want him podcasting against me because he'd be out at the shed at 4 a.m.
He could sit out there forever. So, he's done great work for me, and I appreciate him a lot, actually.
Well, that's going to get into, I guess, the other part of how we know each other is, and I guess another sponsor today, Lakeside Organic Glow. My wife, she does sugaring, folks. That's taking off hair for people, and we won't do the undercarriage of men, folks. Not on the table. Spray tans, teeth whitening. But I know your mom has came to my wife for whatever, maybe teeth whitening, something. Just let her know if she says Wally 15, she'll get 15% off just because I think it's funny.
I'm sure when I tell her that, she's going to be excited. I know that for a fact.
But I know they've chatted, and that's how I started figuring out your name and who you were. That she mentioned that you may have some German lineage.
I do. I definitely do. Yeah. So that's something that,
what is it?
It is my mom's dad and his parents, obviously. My mom's dad lived in I want to somewhere in Germany. I can't remember the city. But so that's been in the works of getting my German citizenship done. Hopefully it's ready to go for next year.
No shit.
I
always would have liked one of those. I was an import, but those are nice.
That's something Dave brought up to me. He said, "Do you have any citizenship areas?" And I asked my parents, and then my mom instantly said German. And when I told David, he was excited. So
I've tried to stay out of it for 3 years. So you know that, right? I've stayed out of it. I haven't talked to you about it. But when I saw you playing in the East Coast, when I saw you playing in the East Coast, and your mom had mentioned you might be able to get a German passport, I bit my tongue. But I just wanted to mention you probably should go do that.
Oh no, yeah, that's been something. I was kind of thinking about while I was at school was like, if I get this German citizenship, we're going over to Germany and, starting over there. So, but it's just,
that you're an import in Denmark though, means you can really play. And then you become a non-import. That's,
which I'm lucky enough. You've played here. It's a great city. It's a great place.
Curious question. Are you over there as a single guy?
I am. Yeah.
Oh dear, I've seen this story so many times. You go over there to spread your hockey wings. Next thing you know, we're gonna be talking to you in 10 years. You're gonna have little German kids talking German to me, eating pretzels. Gosh.
I've
seen this show before.
Yeah.
Especially if you get bored with a lot of time in between practices and games,
Yeah, I mean, we finished today. I was home by 12, so I was just waiting for you at 6. But the amount of Netflix I've watched since I've gone here, I probably watched about 3 TV series. I think I'm in the middle of the Blacklist right now, which I don't know if you've watched, but
I'm a Yellowstone guy. Yeah. That's all I got time for. That's the only time I've turned on the TV in the last year since I started this pod. It was
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I've been told by multiple people, like even on the team here, like, you got to watch Yellowstone. I was like, I keep starting.
You gotta have time. You gotta have time.
I have too much time. It's like practice, go out and eat at a restaurant or something with the guys, and then you're home. And obviously,
you gotten into napping yet?
Oh, I was gonna nap, and then we got on the pod. So
no, napping that was one of my hobbies. I was fantastic at it. I could crush 2 to 3 hours a day, but then my sleeping patterns would get all erratic. This is pre-children, folks. In Germany, you got not much to do other than walk around and look at buildings, right?
Yeah.
Drink coffee, eat stuff.
Check out all the coffee shops, walk around. I've seen already everything, I think, in Esberg downtown. So there's not much more to see.
I guess you're in Denmark now. I don't know Esby. I know the rink. So what? Yeah, let's get into that. That barn. I played playoff series against them, and this is the weirdest part about Denmark. You may or may not even know this yet. We finished first. We finished first. 8 teams make the playoffs. The top 4, so whoever finishes first, gets to pick who they play out of the bottom 4. We picked 5th place Esberg. So instead of playing the 8th place team, we picked the 5th place team and played them in the first round. And it was because their 2 leading scorer imports had bet on their own team and got kicked out of the league.
So you were playing them, and I heard about this from
dude,
a couple guys.
Me and those 2 guys were up for top 5 in scoring. Me and my centerman were racing with those 2 for the league leading scorer.
Yeah.
And then they both got kicked out of the league. And I thought it was a layup until Alex Levitt rolls into town. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it was my first week here, second week. I was just like in the car, like with the GM, and he's like, "Hey, just so you know, like no betting on games or anything like that," because like we went to this dinner. I wasn't able to play for the first 2 weeks I was here. I had to wait for my yellow card. So like just going to watch the games, we were up top, and like everyone in the VIPs betting on games. And I've never obviously seen that before, like on paper in front of you at the table. So like he was like, make sure you don't do this. We had 2 guys get kicked off. Like I had to fire them. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, but it's not, but they also weren't betting for their team to win the game. And they were playing in it. Yeah. They were the best players on the team and the goalie.
Yeah.
And they lost to the last place team like 9-2 or something.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh God, that was funny. But yeah, then I do know one, like they both got contracts elsewhere for probably more money. There's the hockey world, folks.
Probably,
and people sometimes just want to win more than character, right?
When you probably played in Esberg, we have a brand new rink compared to what you probably played in.
Yeah, really? Now I don't have anything to talk to you about. I want to talk about where you play 2-touch and stuff.
I don't even play 2-touch.
I'm
not 2-touch guy.
Talking to me.
I know.
What do you do? Like, you probably do like running and high knees and butt kicks. Grow up.
You might think I do, but I don't. It's actually funny. I'm like usually in the room, just kind of chilling, listening to music, whatever's on the stereo, and I just kind of roll out and stretch. And then, but now here, it's actually funny. There's, I think, four of us out of the 6 imports that are all just sitting in the room. We're the only ones not playing 2-touch, so it's kind of a chill vibe, which is nice. But yeah, no, it's
you're just cool, calm, and collected, eh? You're just cool, calm, and collected. You're not getting too wound up before games. You're just sitting there drinking coffee.
Yeah, just drinking coffee, relax. If I get too wound up, my game goes downhill a little bit.
I do that too, but I sit there, I drink coffee, then I would go out and I would just run amok in 2-touch. There would be shoulder strikes off the back. I had some wild moves. But all right.
Yeah.
Not a 2-toucher. I got nothing to talk to you about. Moving on.
I used to play 2-touch though, up until my time in Carlton place. And I took, how it gets kind of intense. I took one right off the nose and I was bleeding all over. So I just that's the end of my 2-touch right there.
You know what? You can get injured playing hockey. You can get injured in 2-touch. I was willing to take that risk because I thought that was more fun than playing the games.
The amount of guys that roll ankles and stuff before a game, just playing 2-touch it's just something else.
Oh yeah. So where'd you fly into? Copenhagen?
I flew into Billund.
Oh yeah.
I think how you pronounce it. Yep. So it's only about, I think it was like 35 minutes away from Esberg, which is nice. I didn't have to. Right? Yeah, it's tiny. Like I didn't even realize I was really in an airport when I got off the plane. But it was nice instead of going into Cope and having to train the 3.5 hours or 3-hour car trip.
So language is pretty strange, eh?
Yeah, it's a little different. I'm getting used to it now. I know thank you.
Talk?
That's talk. Yeah, I know talk because that's the one way I could say thank you, at least in their language. But
that's about all I remembered was talk.
It's different. It's different sitting in the room, just hearing the Danish guys speaking Danish, and you're kind of just like, I don't know what, or like you're on the ice and they start talking systems in Danish. You're just like, okay, kind of don't know what's going on, but
it's weird talking to you because I remember being that guy. I remember getting off the plane and everybody talking German and the signs are in German. And then the coach literally didn't speak English in the room. He'd come in and just talk German. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. No, it's nice. Actually, we have a Canadian coach. So
it's English.
Yeah. You might know him, Jason Jaspers. He played in Germany in the Dell for about, I want to say 10, 12 years, actually.
I'm pretty sure he played World Juniors and was an OHL guy. Sudbury Wolves, maybe.
He did. He is from Thunder Bay, Ontario, up by Wawa, actually, which is something funny. When I signed here, he called me. He's like, I've never heard of somebody playing hockey out of Wawa still. So, yeah, we had a good chuckle about it.
So, I guess, we may as well. Actually, no, we got more to talk about Esberg. The only guy I know on your team is your goalie, Thomas Lilypad.
Oh, you know Lil?
Lilypad, yeah, he was our backup. Like he was pre-pubic hair when he was on my team. He was like 17.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense because we have two guys, like two D-men, or a D-man and a forward that have played in Esberg for like 17 and 15 years now.
I maybe played against them. I don't know. That's a long time.
You probably did, but like I was like thinking when they told me, I was like, wow, that's a long time of not like, branching out and seeing different areas or different teams,
But if they're from there, it's pretty nice setup to be able to play pro hockey in your hometown.
Oh, yeah. Like we have a lot of guys from Esberg, a lot of guys from Rovier actually too, which, but it's good. We got
Lilypad's from Voyance Sunderjuski, right? When I played with him, he was our backup. They would play him against like the low end teams, but then he went to the World Juniors and ran amok. He was all over TSN kicking pucks out, and then he became like a starting goalie in the league. Yeah.
Oh,
when I was playing with him, he ran amok in the World Juniors. I remember.
He's been a starter for a while. I can't remember where he was before Esberg, but yeah, we have a good 1-2 tandem with him and Eamon McAdam. He came in the same time as me. He played in the American League and was signed by the Leafs. Yeah, he's an import goalie too, so big boy.
Okay, what's the apartment like? It looks all right, eh?
Oh no, apartment. For coming over to Europe for the first time, the apartment couldn't be better. 2-bedroom by myself.
Oh,
lots
really?
of room. Big living room. Yeah, it's a nice setup actually.
Yeah, it's different. You probably had roommates the other years, in the coast?
Yeah, I would have my first year. It was actually one of the best houses I've lived in. There was actually two of us, or three of us. Sorry, we had a 3-bedroom, but it was a nice apartment in Rapid City. And then last year I had one roommate. Yeah.
Okay.
So living alone is a little different. You find yourself just sitting on the couch watching TV too much, no one to talk to.
Oh shit! I know. Yeah, there's some downtime. Okay.
Sometimes too much.
Have you played Sunderjuski yet?
I have not played them yet. We have a back-to-back at Christmas coming up here, and I think those are the next 2 games we have against them.
Who's good
I have a buddy over there. What's that, sorry?
Who's good in that league these days?
Right now, I want to say that is Alberg. Alberg's the best team I played so far on the ice. They move the puck around like they can move. Frederikshavn is also up there in Herning.
Oh yeah, Herning. Is Herning still in the old shitty rink, or no? Did both of those places have new rinks since I played there?
Herning is like it's almost like ours, but a little smaller, full bowl.
Those are all new rinks from what I played in.
But it's
you young punks.
It's a North American sheet though. So when we went there last week, it was like everything was going so much quicker because you're on the Olympic sheet and you have so much more room. But yeah, Herning was it looked like it's a nice rink though.
Yeah, it's definitely newer than the one I played in. That's the team we beat in the finals. Okay, but there's not much hitting, eh?
No, it's great.
It really is. Like
Yeah,
you don't even like, in the seasons, like you have the bruises all over your arms and your stomach and your back. Like you play there, you might get a couple bruises.
Yeah, like I remember my first game, I was talking to the other imports. Like I didn't know what to expect. And I remember getting a D-to-D neutral zone pass. And I started skating to get the red, like North America. I saw two guys coming at me and
you're going to get just killed when you're dumping it in.
I soft chipped it and I'm like starting to get ready to embrace myself. And these two forwards just go right by me and change. I'm like, wow, this is great.
They didn't finish their check at all.
Yeah, I know. Well, the reffing here too, it's just, I can't get into it, but
wait till you get to Germany.
Holy. We lost the other night because of a high stick blatantly over the net. Just called it a goal, reviewed it, still called it a goal. With like 10 seconds left in the game too. It's crazy.
There's some German refs when you get over there. They're like so arrogant. Even if they realize they made a mistake, they will never show you.
No. Yeah, no.
Okay, well, let's get into this then. Growing up in Wawa, that's way up north. Where up north is Wawa?
It's about 2.5, 3 hours north of Sault Ste. Marie.
So what are you guys doing up there?
Nothing.
Didn't somebody have to work?
Yeah, so there used to be a wood plant there. That's where my parents and all my family worked. And then I don't know how old I was. I was probably around 9 or 10 when it shut down, which made my mom and my stepdad move to Kincardine, actually. They got a job at the plant. And then my dad moved to Sault Ste. Marie, which is how I ended up moving from Wawa to Sault Ste. Marie and started playing AAA and getting more involved in hockey.
You were playing AAA in Sault Ste. Marie. That wasn't the research team didn't find that.
Yeah, so hockey in Wawa was a travel team, but we'd only play tournaments. So we played about probably 5-6 tournaments a year, maybe. Didn't have any leagues to play in, so it was a lot of practice and just we had wait for the tournaments. We would just scrimmage and wait for tournaments, basically. Yeah, so I ended up playing a tournament in Sault Ste. Marie, and I was like one of the better players on the team, obviously, and because it was just a small town and not many players could really skate on our team, like in Wawa, because it was just like Wawa's only 2,500 people.
So you probably got like maybe not even 10 kids in it. Yeah.
No, we actually had, which is crazy to say, when I was there, we had probably 4 lines and like AD, but we couldn't cut anybody. So like everyone would play.
Right.
And we ended up going to the Sioux, and one of my best friends now, Michael Amadio, he plays for Vegas. His dad was the coach of the AAA team, and he reached out to my dad and said, hey, like, would Ryker want to, move to the Sioux? And, the first year I remember laying in my room and just absolutely did not want to leave. I was like, I can't move the whole family to Sault Ste. Marie to play AAA. So I ended up not going. And I played a year in Sault Ste. Marie in Pee Wee A. So I was just playing house league in there. And then the following year I played AAA. I made the AAA team.
So then Wawa was 3 hours from there. So you actually moved to Sault Ste. Marie then?
Yeah. So I actually moved with my dad, got an apartment there. We moved, and my aunt ended up getting a teaching job at the elementary school that I went to. So she actually did, when my dad was at work, she actually did a lot for me, just drive me to practice. And, because I also did some power skating in the morning before school, and she was able to get me there. So very thankful for that, obviously.
Yeah, no kidding. It's everybody's minor hockey journey is very different, and it's interesting, right? Like, so then you go from there, though, you end up with the Huron Perth Lakers and living in Kincardine, right?
Yep. So that I played my Pee Wee major year with the Sioux, and then I played Bantam minor with the Sioux, and then obviously in Sault Ste. Marie they don't have minor midget, which as a kid you want to get drafted to the OHL, obviously, and them not having a minor midget team, I would have to play major midget with I don't know what the ages of that is, 16, 17, 18, I think. So my dad one day just told me, like, hey, I think the thing for you to do is to move with your mother and play for Huron Perth.
That's
And
got to
that
be
was something
that's
I
got
was
to be a
like,
tough realization for him too,
I
right?
was like, oh, I got to move it. Like, I don't want to move again, meet all new people all over again. You know, we went to the Marlboro tournament at Christmas. I remember watching, and we went to watch the Huron Perth game, and I was like, these guys are way better than what I am playing right now. So I ended up making the move. First day in Kincardine was first day of high school. So that was a treat.
So you don't know anybody, and then you're gonna play for Huron Perth, so it's not like you're meeting them playing hockey with them either.
So the nice thing is that Keegan McClellan, I'm sure you know who that is. He was actually on Huron Perth that year. So
I don't know who that is. Sorry, I don't know your age bracket.
He's from Kincardine. He's my age. He was on Huron Perth at the time. And you know, it was nice of him. Like, I went over to his house before like going to high school, and like we walked over together because that's literally the only person I knew at the time. And it was like the whole new thing for me, especially it being high school, was definitely tough.
That would be overwhelming because it was hard to go to high school when I was from Elmira.
Yeah, you know? Like it was.
Yeah, that would be different.
Just like walking the halls, you walk into the classrooms and like everyone's like, who are you? Because like we're in Kincardine and like everyone kind of knows everyone.
Yeah.
Or like
everybody. And then once you've been living here for a while, you realize like a lot of them are related to each other too. You don't know who's cousins with who, and it's like the hockey spider web, but just in a little town.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely a major change for me having to do that. But you know, looking back at it, it was definitely the smart thing to do.
Yeah, no, I could see that. So I guess Huron Perth, just how this is related is that was the team my son tried out for and made, and then we turned them down. But a lot of travel, doing that?
Yeah, tons of travel. Obviously, being from Kincardine, I was right on the border of being a Highlander or a Laker.
Right where my road is too.
Yep, right on the border. So yeah, it was like the following year, minor midget. It was funny. Like we got to play Great Bruce in like the first couple games of the year, and I think there was about 5, maybe 6 Kincardine boys on Great Bruce that minor midget year. So like it was like at high school all day at class. It's like, I'll see you guys later tonight. Like. So
it's kind of like when my kid goes to the Ripley school, and then Ripley's going to play Kincardine, and so my team's got 3 kids that go to Ripley, but they play for Kincardine. Yeah, so yeah, they see each other all day. They're going to have to play each other this year too. But shout out to my team. We're going to Silver Stick tomorrow morning. Boys, be ready to rock. I plan on winning this thing.
Huge tournament. Need a Silver Stick under your belt here.
I haven't had chances to win trophies in a while, and we already got one this year, and we don't plan on stopping, man. You should see these guys. They've become a team. They're like brothers, and you know, it's tough when you hear your story. You moved to Kincardine at grade 9, and you miss these years of where they become best buddies and brothers, right? And I know what it's like because I left Elmira to go play AAA, and I saw my buddies back in Elmira like winning and being brothers, and I'm going to Waterloo or Guelph, and then I even went home for a year just because I felt so bad, and it was not the right decision.
Yeah, like even just moving from the Sioux, like I was just getting close with all those guys. Right. Obviously, I'm still very close with most of them, but like even prior to that, moving there, like they just came off winning like 3 straight all Ontarios. Like I was just like I wasn't even part of that, so like it was different, but like wouldn't change it at all.
Okay. So then you went from there though, and you make the Stratford Culletons, and you play at the William Ullman Arena, probably the best junior hockey rink in the world, eh?
I love that place. That place was just like I don't know how they do for fans now, but when I was there, I remember just like every Friday night at William Ullman was just packed, and it was unbelievable, honestly, just to play junior hockey in front of a crowd like that. And like I remember walking down the streets, and like obviously I'm a 16-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid, and like these super fans already know who I am and know who we are just walking down the street. I don't even have to be wearing a coat. It's like it was kind of a cool moment, honestly, just playing junior hockey in Stratford and going to like even there I had to move. Was that grade 11? Yeah, I was in a new high school in grade 11, grade 12 right away.
You're right. So you moved from Kincardine to Stratford then to Billet?
I billeted there and went to high school at St. Mike's.
You moved around a bunch, in your life?
Yeah.
Now Denmark, eh?
I think Denmark might be the 12th city I've lived in, or town, since I started hockey.
Well, it's just gonna keep growing, bud.
Keep growing. Let it grow.
I think there was
cool,
a time in my life I made a list of all the countries I had been to, and it was a lot more than you'd think as guys from Elmira or Wawa, right?
Oh yeah, like it's crazy.
Yeah,
I
it's the
started
hockey
in a
world,
small
man.
little town. Started in a small little town, and I've moved almost everywhere so far, and I'm planning to do a lot of travel on those breaks that we have here in Denmark. So
yeah, you need to. Those are the best time. Get a couple other fellas with you, and those trips can be some of the times you'll never forget.
We had a 5-day break about 2 weeks ago. We all went to Copenhagen. So
are you not making a trip with Ethan Skinner?
So me and Ethan Skinner have been planning to. I have a 5-day break on December, I want to say 14th to like the 19th. And we've been trying to figure out a place that me and him can fly into, or he could drive to, that we could have a little
get together
over here in Europe. Because obviously it's cool. Like we see each other all the time back home in the summer, but to be in Europe and see some different things would be a hell of a time, honestly.
To do it together with a guy,
Yeah.
It was like, I remember literally I talked about it on his episode. It was Kanzi, one of the best pods yet. Out of 100 folks, you got to listen to that one. He was in one. When I went to Germany, and basically everything's new, right? And you go to Oktoberfest, and I just randomly ran into my teammate from the year before, and it just puts you in a better mood over there when you see someone familiar, right?
Yeah, like I remember like a couple guys on my team this year on the as we were during that 5-day break, they actually like went to like Budapest and stuff with like an old teammate.
You can do whatever you want.
Because it's like
it's the best.
I mean, like you want to go travel with your team, but like you see them every single day. So like if you can like have a break with another old friend or an old teammate, like you might as well get out and go
see the world, man. Like the thing is, you fly over there as soon as you show up. Like every single year, it's like the day you land, the next morning they're making you be there at 8 a.m. to work out and do all the bullshit. And then all of a sudden the season starts, right? It's just work every day, and the days off, you're tired. You don't want to do that much. You get one of those weeks off, man. You got to go see shit. You got to live. You got to go check out Europe. It's the best time ever.
Yeah, we were, me and Skinny were planning on going to watch McFadden playing that Canada Olympics in Switzerland.
Is that where it is, Switzerland?
Yeah, it's in Zug, I think. Yeah, but it's during that break, and 2 days ago or 3 days ago, it actually got canceled. So I feel bad for Garrett, honestly, because that would have been unbelievable for him to go to. Because we were me and him were planning a little trip on to go watch him play a couple games, and us tour Switzerland a little bit.
Oh boy, that would have been an expensive trip going to Switzerland, but yeah, that would have been really fun. And those would be 3 all Potters, folks. See, I can hang out with the kids. I get along with the kids too. All 3 of you. Skinny's coming on next week, folks. Just so you know, he's in the Herentals, Evan Mosey's former place. Anyways, and he's running amok. I saw some stats. Okay. Moving on though. In Stratford, you were D-Man of the year. Was your team good? Did you win it?
Actually, back-to-back years. I've lost both years in the finals of the Cherry Cup.
To who?
Tough. Yeah, tough 2 years. Actually, we were both years. I want to say we were like 5th, 6th, both years.
Went on a run.
Yep. Yeah, we upsetted Caledonia the first year, and then the second year we actually upset Kitchener, who had like a 26-game win streak, and they were just an absolute wagon, and we ended up beating them, and yeah, we blew it both times against Waterloo and Cambridge.
That's tough.
I don't know anything about Cherry Cups. You'll have to ask Skinny about those, because guy's got like 2 in a Southern Cup or whatever he's
sounds got. Like me. It sounds like my resume. 2 in a Southern Cup. Okay. Moving on though. Me and Skinny have lots to talk about. Yeah. Moving on though is after 2 years in Stratford, this is where I'm curious, because I get a scholarship out of Elmira. I go straight from Elmira to Western Michigan. You play 2 years, win D-Man of the year, and get drafted 7th overall to the Muskegon Lumberjacks of the USHL. So That is crazy high because the USHL draft is like, that's legit. And you're going 7th overall?
Yeah. So my second year, I had a really good year. Going into it, I realized that like OHL was not for me. Just going to rookie camp and training camp and stuff. I was really small at the time too. I had no weight to me. I was probably like 5'8". And then at the end of my 16-year-old year, this is when I found out about college hockey. I was in the dressing room after a game, and then coach comes in and he's like, "Hey, somebody wants to talk to you." And I was like who wants to talk to me? And then it ends up being like a Niagara school or RIT or something. And I'm like kind of getting curious of like, where are these places and like, what is college hockey? So going into the second year, I remember going to Windsor camp, and I was just like, this is not for me. I'm too small at the time. Like the OHL, there were some big boys on Windsor too. Like, and so I went back to Stratford. Actually left after 2 days at Windsor camp. Went back to Stratford. Probably before Christmas, I want to say maybe a month or two in, I committed to Fair State, and then the rest of the year, I kind of took off and really found my grounding of how I am as a hockey player.
So you committed to Western your second year in Stratford.
To Fair State, yeah.
Or sorry, what did I say?
Western. You went to Western.
Yeah, my God.
I don't like those.
I've had a few West. Yeah, that's the biggest rival. Sorry, Ferris. You're like the like the 6th or 7th Bulldog on here. I know all about you guys. You're just like Western guys. We're all the same. We're the underdogs. We're not the big prospects like Michigan and all those punks.
Yeah, well,
we can compete with you, right?
When I committed there, they actually lost in the national final, and that following year were ranked number 1. So like when I committed there, I was like,
you thought, yeah. And when I committed to Western, they're ranked like 4th or 5th in the country.
Yeah,
so I know what you're talking about.
I'm going to a powerhouse.
Okay, so then is it Ferris steering you to go to the USHL?
Yeah, basically, yeah. So I actually, thinking back on it, it was kind of crazy. By the end of the Stratford year, I actually had like a BCHL team fly in, their coaches, to talk to me to go to Powell River, and like had dinner with them after a game. And I was like, kind of just like, I just want to like enjoy summer. Like this is when your career path starts going. But then
and you have a scholarship. You already like are living in Stratford, and like, is this league that bad that we can't just play there and then go to college? What's happened around here?
I don't know, but like when I got to Muskegon, like it was a major jump.
For sure. No, and I see like the level of the USHL, man. Those guys, if you're getting a point a game in the USHL, you're going to college and running amok.
You're going to college for a year or two and getting drafted, you're out of there quick if you're running a point per game. But like it was a battle for me every day in Muskegon. And then I just made the choice. I wasn't getting good enough minutes to like really get better, really was what it was, because our team was so good. Like we have, I want to say like 3 of them already played in the NHL. Yeah, like everyone went to college. Like a lot of them played.
Sorry, what? 3 had played where?
3 had played in the NHL already from that team. And like the whole team when I got there was fully committed by Christmas, the whole roster. So like we had guys going to North Dakota, Notre Dame, like big schools.
And that's what the USHL is now, right? Like it's just, and like I get that it's a lot better than Elmira and Stratford and Listowel. I get that, but I don't know, man. It's tough. At least you got the scholarship out of this league. I hear that. Basically my story with Skinny that we'll talk about was like, I tried to help him out and they said, well, if he wants to get a scholarship, he has to leave Elmira. And I was like, you don't say that to me. You shut your filthy mouth.
Yeah, I got mine. And actually a kid committed in the, where was he? He was in Caledonia. He committed to the University of Michigan, actually out of our league. Connor Murphy. He committed out of there as a 16-year-old, same as me, same age. He ended up going to Cornell. I don't know if he's still playing or not, but.
Yeah, it's interesting where everybody goes. Okay, so then you do get to Ferris. You win a championship. We got to talk about that. So you leave Muskegon, and so that's interleague trading or something. How do you get out of Muskegon to Carlton? Who does it a trade? Is it money?
The way I took it is that the one day I went in, they wanted to send me down to the NAHL, the NAHL. I think it was Flint or something. And they didn't, by that point, they haven't won a game, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe they won like a game. And I talked with Ferris and I'm like, just talking to Ferris, I was like, am I really going to get better developing here? Or can I just go back to Stratford? That's what
yeah.
So I went back home for, I want to say, a week or two, and Carlton Place, probably one of the best coaches I've ever had, called me, and he just said like, hey, I understand your situation. You need to develop, you need to get better, be ready for college. And I think this is the best place for you. And then he just blatantly asked me, he's like, do you want to win a national championship? And I was like, you promised me a national championship? He's like, you'll be playing for a national championship. And I was like, okay, then I'm coming. And ended up playing in the national championship game, which is just crazy to me.
Yeah. Wow. Then so who's that coach?
Jason Clark. He ran Carlton Place for, I want to say, 5 years.
That's Ottawa?
Yeah, it's just 45 minutes outside Ottawa, so 30 minutes. It's not too far. So like as an 18-year-old, we were going, out to Ottawa on days off or whatever. So it was good. But yeah, when I was there and won it, that was our third straight league title. And when we went to the national championship, that was our third straight year going to the national championship tournament. So, and I think they won it the next 2 years. I think they went 5 years straight.
And you had good numbers and you're playing big minutes and you're playing the national championship game. That's a great experience before you get to college, eh?
It was phenomenal just playing on TSN and like just going through like that national championship game was in Portage and we were playing Portage. So that place was packed and, it didn't end up how we wanted
Where's
it to.
Portage?
Portage La Prairie is, I want to say, not Manitoba. Might be Manitoba.
Saskatchewan.
It might be. I honestly, I can't even remember, but there was nothing other than the rink.
Right. Like Voy and Denmark.
But like, yeah, it was like nothing but the rink. But when the game started, it was packed. It was sold out in there.
You don't know where everybody comes from, but then all of a sudden
I remember people were
Voy
sitting
and
on the
Denmark.
step.
Wait till you get there. Wait till you see the town. There's nothing. There's 2 roundabouts, and then there's an NHL rink, and it's like packed. And you're like, where did these people come from? There's nothing to do all day. Where'd they come from?
Yeah. It was kind of crazy, but it was a great experience definitely before going to school.
So then when you win the league, then was it a close final series?
No.
Just ran amok. Okay. Moving on then, you get to Ferris. I looked at your roster to see who I know because I've had different eras of Bulldogs on now. The only guy I knew who has not potted with me yet is Jerry Mayhew. He was a senior year, freshman year, and he ran amok, it looked like. My kids were the ring bearer and flower girl for his first cousin's wedding. He was in the wedding party. I was there, helping out, being a dad. Yeah, that's where I met him, in Michigan. Yep.
Wow.
Gonna have to pod with him. He's like an NHLer now almost.
He is he's up and down, but
yeah,
man, can that guy score goals.
And his AHL
last
numbers
year
are outrageous. He goes to Europe, that guy is going to cash in. I don't know what he's waiting for. I've been biting my tongue with him too, but hey, I'll stay out of it. You guys do what you want.
He made Minnesota last year and he was there for, I want to say 30 games and then got sent back. But
and when I watched a couple of games, he played like 4th line, didn't really get like a chance to play like he would, right? He's a scorer.
Yeah, no, he's a pure goal scorer. And as you can tell from that one year he had in the American League when he was MVP, I think he had, I want to say 42 goals in like 46 games or something crazy.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his actual totals were, but
tough though, when guys play NHL games, they can big time the shed, It's tough.
Yeah.
Tough to get him out here.
I could get him on. I talk to him every couple of days.
Okay, no, I know. I could go the cousin route too. I'm playing hard to get in my shed right now, but it's funny. It's funny when you see guys like before they're gonna make it come into the shed, like Ethan Frank. This guy is running amok in college hockey right now, and he came on before he big timed me, or before he could big time me. Because he could be in the show at the end of this season, and he came on the shed while he's still at Western and told me all about how it is, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I saw that interview that you had with him. he's actually tearing it up by the looks of it. So hopefully he keeps that going.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Jerry did. So then what was your Ferris experience like? That rink is interesting, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. My full experience there in my first year was, obviously you're a freshman, you're trying to get through school, you're trying to navigate everything, obviously,
and get to know everybody
and for me, we had an older team my freshman year, and we had 5 senior defensemen and a junior. So it was very tough for me and our other freshman defensemen to get in. But the coaches were good enough to I also could play forward, so they put me on forward, but I would also be on the power play. So I was also getting good minutes. And
you're playing forward?
Yeah, I was just playing fourth line, chip it in. I was just
hard forecheck.
Hey, whatever I could do to play my freshman year, I was doing it.
It's a big jump too, eh? It's like going to the USHL at Stratford. USHL is probably Division 1, right?
Yeah, USHL basically Division 1, but then you also mix in those guys that are 24, 25 years old that are just
bigger,
way stronger than me. Even my freshman year, I was only 165, 170 pounds. And when I left my senior year, I'm 185, 186.
Yeah, mine wasn't. I didn't gain good 20 my freshman year though. It was more from the cafeteria.
The cafeteria food was unbelievable actually at Ferris.
Did you have all you can eat too?
All you can eat, and it was about 40 steps from my dorm room. So get a little hungry at 11 p.m. You just walk over there, muck some pizza and fries.
That's when naps happen too, folks, after that.
Oh, lots of napping.
Yeah, okay. So hockey hasn't changed that much. A lot of napping still. So then what major did you take? What are you educated in?
Marketing. Yeah. The classic hockey guy response at school is, what do you major in? Marketing or business?
There's social sciences, there's phys ed, there's all sorts of weird stuff, right?
Most of the guys at Ferris were business administration, business marketing, and then you get the odd guy in statistics or accounting or finance, but
yeah, I was a business management guy, but you know what? It actually fits my personality. I like organizing and making stuff happen. Right? It's like on the power play when I would tell everybody exactly where they had to stand and where they had to position their hips. I'm like, no, you don't stand like that. You got to put your stick here.
Put your stick here so I can hit your tape and you just shoot. And
don't do anything else. You better be where I tell you to be. Okay, moving on then is what was it like playing? Because I've never really asked this question. What's it like playing in front of the Lawson Lunatics as a Bulldog?
You don't want to hear my story. You already showed me that video on the phone. There's a whole background to it.
Oh, really? Is it the picture of you on the phone there at Ferris? That was a video?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny, but so my sophomore year, we go to Western. For you do the 1-and-1, one at Ferris, one at Western, and we go to Western. And I'm a sophomore. I stayed the whole summer at Ferris, and that's the summer I put on weight. I put on some weight. I got stronger, but I did not get faster on the ice, and I could tell that was an issue in practices and stuff. So we get to Western, and you know what the Lawson Lunatics are like? They are crazy. Mm-hmm. So it's loud, it's whatever. So first period, I get a penalty, and I go in that penalty box, and I am sitting there, and I'm hearing everything. And I'm like, I cannot come back here. I'm never coming back in this penalty box. What do you know? Probably 5-6 minutes later, first period, penalty again. I'm back in the penalty box. So then they ended up just starting to run up the score, if I remember correctly, honest, and just putting us in a blender. And then I come second period, I get another penalty again. But I come back to the bench, and I have posters, I have Google, they've Googled me, they have everything now on the glass, and I'm just trying not to focus. And I come out of the penalty box, and how D will take the wing spot if they're in our end. So I take the wing spot, and I get a puck on the wall, and I chip it out, and this guy plasters me, and I go right through the glass. Glass shatters everywhere. I'm just That's it. I'm like completely done. Like I don't want to be out here
So you took
anymore.
3 penalties and they got hit through the glass?
Yeah,
Right at the Lunatics, like right at the student section?
Yeah,
You're playing right wing and
no, it was, thank God, it was like right across. It was right across from the Lunatics, right beside the bench actually. And thank God, like on like even in the year-end meeting with my coach in that school, they were like, Riker, that was the worst game I've ever seen you play in 2 years. Like,
well,
I was like, no, I completely agree with you.
Well,
So that following year, going into the year, we played Western again at Western, and the media people at Ferris thought it'd be funny if I made like this joke, like I forget what the movie's called, Taken, I think it is, and we just replayed that Taken scene, but the Lost and Lunatics like stole my gear, so I was like telling them that I would come back and get it or something. So it was one of those embarrassing videos that you got to make.
So at least you guys made it fun that you had a tough game.
Oh, it was tough. Like looking back at it, it's probably the worst game of hockey I've ever played.
You want to know the worst game I ever played?
Where was it?
Michigan.
I have good memories of Michigan.
I was running amok in college hockey, and then all of a sudden everybody decided to start telling me when NHL teams were coming to watch. Couldn't handle it. Could not do it. I saw Ron fucking Hextall up in the crowd, and I'm like, he's here to watch me. I know he's here to watch me. They told me he's here to watch me. And I couldn't skate. I couldn't stick handle. I couldn't shoot. There were other dads that asked my parents if I was drunk. And I was like I literally, I couldn't play when I saw the scouts up there and they're watching it. And that's all I could think about. I couldn't play hockey. And like, I literally would get the puck in our end, turn it over, it'd be in our net. I'm like, oh my God. So then this is Hextall's the GM. They have scouts telling him to sign me. And he comes and watches that shit and says, are you guys serious?
What are you guys watching? Because I didn't see anything good.
So that's how that's how that went. And the my only embarrassing moment with the Lunatics was I blocked a shot with my dickhead. A slap shot. I went down to take it, and it hit me right at the tip. And I laid on the ice, hand in my pants, holding it, and I was squeezing it like, oh, and it was right in front of them. So don't feel that bad.
No. I could feel you though on that Michigan story, because my junior year we went there and for a Friday Saturday game, and that's when Quinn Hughes was there his freshman year, and it was his draft year. And I remember coming out for warmups, and along that side of across from the bench was just literally laptop on laptop on laptop. And it was like, if you want to make an impression today is the day to make an impression, because there is every team in the building.
It's crazy. And like the thing is if you play for Michigan, you get used to it because they're there every week. When you play at Western Michigan, I remember like the very first time my coaches, I'm about to start a game at Michigan State, and one of the coaches comes down and whispers in my ear. He goes, I don't know if you want to know this or not. I would want to know. Anaheim's here to watch you play. And I folded like a cheap tent.
Yeah, I myself, I never want to know when somebody's there.
I'd rather just play. I'd rather be focused on what I'm doing. Play the game, right?
Yeah, you make a mistake and then you're sitting on the bench. You're like, what's he writing down or whatever. I just rather know, like, no one's there.
The one way I look at it is it's kind of like when you worry too much about who you're playing and what they do instead of worrying about yourself.
Yeah, just go out and play. That's why I'm calm, cool, collected in that dressing room before a game. I'm just chilling out.
I hear you. Yeah, exactly. Don't show me Ron Hextall over there.
Yeah, I don't want to see him.
Okay, so then you did win it though at Ferris, eh? You won the conference.
Yeah, freshman year, we were so they changed it up after that year, probably because we won, honestly. But we won our first playoff series against Northern. We swept them, and then there's 4 teams that go play the Final Four, it's called. It was us, Mankato, who was an absolute wagging, and Michigan Tech, and Bowling Green. So there was us 4. We played Michigan Tech on Friday night. It's a single knockout. Bowling Green played Mankato. We ended up beating Michigan Tech 1-0. Probably had no business winning that game. Our goalie stood on his head. Made like
that's what happens in one game knockouts.
Goalie stood on his head. He was a freshman goalie. Made probably like 56 saves. following night we played Mankato and we shut it down. Like we took the lead. I want to say it was 1-1. Their captain actually in the second period puts his hand on the puck in the crease, and no other than Jerry Mayhew goes out for the penalty shot. And he, you know what happens there? He puts it in the net, obviously. And I want to say that third period, after the third, they only had one shot after that. Wow. We completely shut it down. Then we went if you want to get into the tournament right after that, we went to the Sweet 16 and played no other than St. Cloud. And we were the 15th or 16th ranked team, and we upset them 5-4 in Minnesota.
Really?
In front of XL was the full bottom bowl was just packed because St. Cloud's just outside Minnesota.
They love hockey in Minnesota.
It was, I want to say we're winning 4-2. Boys got a little nervous. They tied it up because they were so offensively skilled. And then overtime, once again, I'm going to bring him up. Jared Mayhew skate all the way down the ice, 15 seconds, dance to D-man off the pad. Other guy tap in back door. And
sometimes it makes, when you hear that, like you see his stats and like, I don't know, you're like, so at Ferris, his team wins the league. Like they win it. And he led your team in scoring by like double the points of the next guy. And that guy just gets like an AHL one way. And you're telling me these other guys are walking right into the show? Grow up.
Yeah.
You know?
So
that's the Ferris Western Michigan thing though, right? Is
after that St. Cloud game, we played Denver, who we had like roster wise, we had no business. Like they have, I want to say probably 9 guys in the NHL right now from that roster, which is crazy. But we ended up losing to them. And I want to say Gerald struggled to get an NHL camp maybe in the summer. He ended up going to the Islander camp. Following year, puts up another point per game. And I want to say he only got a PTO at the end of the year, nothing like for sure. And then he went to Iowa and had like 7 goals in 16 games on a PTO, and they signed him to a 1 year after that. But like, it was like, what else more does the guy need to show you that he could play?
And that's the weird part in hockey, when you see some guys and you're just like, how is that guy not getting a real shake? But once it's weird. But then once you get to a certain age, man, there's new guys every year. There's new toys to play with, and they know what you can do. And they're like, that guy would be making about $1 million a year in the KHL. Just saying, Gary, have fun in the AHL though.
He'll be going over probably at some point.
Goddamn right he is.
Yeah, he's just, you're just so close to the NHL, and it's always something you want to do.
Well, and you'd rather do that, right, than play in the KHL, and that's everybody's dream, and I get that. But like, if you've ever seen the Swiss A League and the type of money that's over there and the quality of life, just saying, there's not as much hitting, Jerry, and you might get to play a little longer and probably make more money.
Yeah, the Swiss League is something else.
Swiss A League is where everybody needs to go, but
it's just so hard to get into.
Okay, so then what are your options out of school then? When I saw, this is my question. Third year, you added a lot of points. And then your senior year, you didn't. Did you only play on the power play 1 year college?
No, I was on power play all 4 years, actually. Yeah,
okay.
Which is Ferris was a hard place for us we couldn't score goals, basically.
But it sounds like you were winning by not scoring 1-0, 2-1.
We would win 1-0, 2-1. Whatever, we would never put up a 7 or a 5 or nothing like that. Junior year though, I had a really big summer. I cut down some weight, skated, got a lot faster, and that's where my game kind of just has risen from that year. And then going into my senior year, I had high expectations coming off that junior year, as my points said, and I want to say 2 games in, I pull my groin and hip flexor, like stepping on a puck in the D zone, just completely went 2 different ways. So I missed about 2 weeks, and I come back. We're in Mankato, my first game back, and I get slew foot and land on my ankle, high ankle sprain, and I was out till after Christmas. And then, it got to a point that it was like, do you want to come back for a redshirt year? And then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, no, because it was getting to the point of you're going to come back and there's only going to be 6 games, 5 games left. and then you're going to be done college hockey.
And they're not going to have many options because you didn't play.
I'm like, I haven't played, but like, I'm not coming. So like, I like put my nose down and just absolutely worked until I came back.
You wanted
early.
to be done. All your classes leaving. You've done it for
leaving,
4 years.
My classmates are leaving. It was a major. I wanted to go pro, obviously, and it was just something that like I got my school done. My whole class is leaving, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it, and I just, I ended up coming back early, and I think I don't know how many games I got in that year, but I came back and I was able to sign South Carolina at the end of the year, which was nice because I went there and I really showed what I could do.
Well, you definitely did. I saw that. So you leave school, so you hadn't played a lot. And it's tough when you've been injured for a year and you're just finding your groove. So then your season ends. You go to the coast, which a lot of guys have a hard time adjusting to. I did. I think it was 4 to 6 games with 0 points when I got to the coast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I was also, I was a little pissed off and probably didn't play right either. But you had 9 points in 14 games. That's a lot for a D-man, eh?
Yeah, I want to say it took me probably about 3 games to get really comfortable.
Yeah.
The coach there really, honestly, he put me in a great position to succeed on it. Honestly, he put me, as soon as I got there, I was power play. I was right into the mix. They weren't when I signed there, they weren't a playoff team yet. So we ended up making playoffs, but just getting the ice time and finding that confidence that I had in my junior year.
Well, and that's what's weird though, is when there's so many guys that leave college at the end of that season. There are so many seniors that leave, and everybody wants to go play somewhere and there's a ton of them that show up. They did in Dayton too, that you don't really give them that much of a look because you already have your team set. You've been playing all year, but that they actually gave you a fair shake and you got to show what you could do probably changes your career.
Well, it was nice. It was nice too, because I got there before the trade deadline even, because like we didn't make playoffs my senior year. And that was a major reason why I wanted to come back early. I was like, I'm not going out not making playoffs. Like we got to make playoffs. And we ended up, losing. We had to win, but we had to sweep a weekend at Lake State, and we ended up losing on the Friday first game. But I was eager to show what I could do again after that junior year. But the whole senior year, I was just up and down, couldn't figure out. And so it was a good opportunity in South Carolina, and I just jumped on up there before the deadline, which was nice. I didn't know how long I was going to be, but obviously they kept me around.
So were you done school?
No, I was taking classes, trying to keep up with, I had to do some FaceTimes with teachers and asking for, can I get an extra extension or whatever?
It's really weird. You're bringing me back in time because I literally lived the same life. I left after my senior year and I had classes left and I made the deals with the teachers. And what the only class they wouldn't give me was?
Which one?
Volleyball, because it was only about attendance. You had to be there to be able to bump, set, and spike.
Yeah.
Okay. So then after that year, though, you do run amok up there and you're doing well, showing you can play the pro game, but you don't go back to South Carolina. So who do you sign with? Rapid City or an AHL deal?
No, I signed an American League deal with Tucson in the summer.
One way?
Two-way, yeah.
Two-way Coast AHL?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So it's Rapid City and Tucson?
Tucson, yeah. I signed that deal, I want to say in like July. Obviously first year pro, not many people know how much you make in a coast as a rookie. So like getting a two-way was a lot more money to make, just it being my first year. And I was just like, it's a good opportunity to go to camp, do all the crap stuff.
So did you got to go to the NHL camp or no?
I didn't go to the NHL camp because they had so many guys. I went to the American League one, which, looking back at it, it's like, yeah, you want to go to the NHL camp, but it's like, you're not making it. So like, I can't even, I'm just going there to make the American League team. And there was guys that are on the same deal as me, like on a one-way though, and they went from NHL camp to American League camp, then sent down and had to go to the East Coast camp. And it was just like, they were there for over a month and a half before even the season started. And it was just like, I'm happy just being at Tucson camp.
Yeah, no, I got to go for 48 hours to the main camp, and then got sent down to the American League, and then got sent down to the coast eventually. Yeah. So I get that. So then I did see, like, for plus minus wise, your team probably sucked.
Yeah.
Rapid City sucked.
It wasn't it was an up and down year for me, especially being first year pro. I mean, I made the team out of camp. Actually, I made Tucson out of camp, which was going to be difficult to do with how many NHL contracts they had, and they ended up sending 3 NHL contract D-men down the coast and kept me up. I stayed there for about a month and a half, and I ended up getting sent down to the coast just to start playing because I wasn't playing. Tucson, we haven't lost a game.
Bag skate a lot too, eh?
I was just development drills and bag skates.
Oh, yeah.
But like, for me though,
You're just happy to be there, right?
I was happy to be there for 1, 2. I was honestly probably getting better being there than I was playing down on the coast, like realistically. And then I went down to the coast, and I want to say I had like, I don't know the exact numbers, but I was over a point a game in my first like 8 games. I had probably like 11 or 12 points. And I got called back up, and I flew in the day of a game to Tucson. I had a 6-hour layover on that day. First off, you're flying in on a game day with a layover.
They don't see that.
No nap, barely eating any good food.
Can't play without a nap.
Well, you can't even play when you're like on a 3-hour bus ride, no problem. Like sitting in an airport 6 hours, 2 flights. It's like, so I ended up playing against Ontario that night. And I get hit by Brett Sutter, and my shoulder completely just popped. Yeah, AC joint gonzo. Did my 2 weeks rehab. Back to the coast I went. And then I'm not going to get into it, but the total training and no physio down in the Rapid was just.
So they send you down while you're injured to where they got no good physio, no good trainers.
I was good enough to play by the standards in the American League. So once I was good enough to play, they just sent me back.
Oh.
My first game, I got hit again, and I actually made my AC joint to a grade 2 or 3 separation. So then
you're
as you
not
see
cleared.
by my numbers went straight downhill. My shoulder, by the time, not thank God for COVID, but like for COVID, not for stopping the season, I literally couldn't even raise my arm. Like, it was
and guys will play through so much stuff and not play well because that if you don't, like, they can bring in a new guy and your spot's gone, right?
I was playing like 30 minutes a night too. I was like trying not to get hit. I'm like trying to roll off hits. I'm trying to do anything in the willpower to not get hit.
But like, the only time I played with a bad shoulder that I shouldn't have was in Germany, and he was like a Czech Russian doctor for us, and he froze my shoulder before the game, and I passed out in the locker room. And I woke up and warm-ups was happening, and I went out and played, but like the freezing wore off after the second period, and my gosh, was that painful.
Yeah, like I would get back to the bench, and I was like, after like, that one time as a D, you go back to get a puck and you just get ran.
You're gonna get hit.
I would have a shift like 10 seconds. I go up to the red line, back pedal, pick up a puck, get hit, go to the bench, and just kind of sit there and like try to grab my arm or something.
Just try not to cry. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely difficult for me, and just the mental state of trying to grind through that.
And then you don't play good. You're not having fun. Nothing about hockey's fun. Yeah.
I wasn't playing good. As you can see, my plus minus, like, it's obviously an irrelevant stat sometimes, but like,
yeah, it all depends on your team. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we were first place until I want to say almost Christmas. We were first place, and then how the coast is. It was a full random. Everyone was traded, sent down, waivers, everything was flying.
I love when the research team checks out the coast teams, because the rosters are like 60 players deep.
Yeah, and then
what a team!
In first place, like we're in first place. What are we doing? And then by the time COVID hit, like, we weren't even in playoffs. Like, we weren't even close. Like, we were first in the whole entire league, and then that's how bad our downfall was. And that, it was an up and down first year pro for me.
Yeah, no,
Wasn't it? Yeah.
playing injured sucks, and when your team starts not winning, it sucks. But playing injured, like now when I talk to people, the guys my age bracket, we used to play through basically anything, and a lot of stuff we shouldn't have. And when you ask around and you realize nowadays, you're like, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I should have waited till I was ready to play the way I can, right?
Yeah, like I could have got like cortisone shot and stuff like that, but like I wasn't putting that stuff in my body, and just, getting on that train of where like every couple months I'm like, hey, can you like
shoot me up so I can play some more hockey?
Yeah, like I came to it, it's like knees and shoulders, anything to do with those injuries in your head, just don't even.
My last year of hockey, I used to get my knee drained so I could play.
Yeah, see, like that stuff, like
you should have seen some of the stuff they were pulling out of there.
Yeah, I don't even want to know. I just like.
So after that year, then COVID's all happening. And did you go to Utah at the start of the season for 13 games?
Yeah.
Not a good experience, or what?
I was signed in Toledo. So the season started. Yeah, so I signed in Toledo after that hectic year in Rapid and Tucson. I signed in Toledo on a coast deal. Obviously, you know what the Toledo atmosphere and culture is like there. It's like top notch.
So no, that's not what I played in, man. It was the old arena, and it was an absolute circus. It was slap shot when I played Toledo.
I see. I did not know that, but now it is a full ran. It is.
Yeah, it's probably the best place. I think I played against. It was the last season in like the Slapshot arena. Then they took a year off while the new arena was built, and then they came back like a legit franchise. But before, man, it was hockey. It was wild.
Yeah, like now it's like fully.
It's where you want to go.
It's where you want to go. Obviously, other than going to play in like Florida, like nothing beats the weather. But like.
But you're in the north and you're getting called up, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're in Toledo, there's so many American League teams that looking around at, it's like if they need a guy on any given night, like Cleveland's there, Grand Rapids, Rockford, Milwaukee, like nothing's far. So the season started COVID, I want to say like November. So we get a call before camp, like, hey, we're not playing the first half of the season. I'm like, okay. And that's probably when I ended up skating with you and Ripley.
I think it was in between the two teams, I think.
Yeah, I was still home because everyone was playing, but I wasn't because I was signed in Toledo. So then our date to start was like, I want to say December like 9th or 8th. We had to show up for camp, and
it was different than the other divisions or something, right?
Yeah, we were playing less games and whatever it was. And then like, I want to say like January 3rd, they say, hey, team meeting on Zoom. We're like, okay. I get a text from my agent like, hey, season's can't, like, you're not playing in Toledo, like season's canceled. So I'm like, oh, now what? Like everyone's already playing. Like,
yeah,
literally every team's full.
I'm a hockey, and I'm a hockey player, and I want to play.
Like even at that time, it was like everyone almost has like 9-10 scratches a night already. Like the whole roster, the league was full.
Yeah.
So like, luckily enough, I found a place in Utah. But like once I got there, like my first game, I haven't skated, I think, in a month and a half because that if you remember, the
arenas were shut down
all the rinks and everything again, and we weren't allowed to skate.
Yeah.
So I didn't skate from that, probably the time I skated with you, until randomly, no practice, nothing, just tossed me into a game. Just like, here you go. So you could see how that game went. Like, just D to D off the glass. Nothing,
it's like a Sunday afternoon at the coast. Just get her deep and change. Fuck this.
It was a Monday afternoon game at like, I want to say 11 or 12. It was like,
oh man, have you ever played in one of the kids games where they invite the schools?
Luckily enough, that year in Rapid, we had a kid game, and I ended up not playing that game because my shoulder. I was like,
worst game you can ever play in pro ever. I played in one in the AHL. I played one shift, and I sat on the bench the rest of the game. And the entire arena is full of kids that come for their field trip for the day, and they just screamed. The arena was so loud, and they weren't cheering for hockey. And I just sat there and watched this game while kids screamed for 3 hours, and I had one shift.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I sat up in like one one of our press boxes, and I was like, guys, like, I'm getting a headache.
Yeah, no, it was awful. Awful.
It is this
Awful
nonstop
experience.
screaming and like
High
knowing the
pitched.
coast. Hey, we knowing the coast, we have two guys squaring off 10 a.m. just center ice. I'm like, this is just
And the kids love it. Yeah, no,
it's just started freaking out. It's 10 a.m. You got two guys going toe to toe.
Oh God. Yeah, you're right. But then so you go from Utah, you get out of there, right?
Yeah, so we had so many guys, and it was just like I ended up playing 9 games at forward, I think, because like they were just throwing me in, and I was just like,
But
okay,
they would have had enough forwards too. Why did you keep playing forward?
because I would play forward because Colorado, the American League team, would call up all our forwards randomly, and then they would go on the road, and they had a rule where the call-ups couldn't go on the road to another area or something. So like every time they would go on the road, their guys would come down, and then when they'd be at home, they'd go up. It was crazy, honestly. And then just the one day I was just like, you know what, if I could get out of here and find a place that I can play, like I know
Nice.
I can play.
Yeah.
You know, like
I know you can play. I've seen you play like for at least 3 or 4 shifts. That's all I need to know.
How many times I score?
I don't think you did.
I know you were probably playing shutdown D.
I actually was playing D that day, but no, I know. Do you want to know what type of player you are? Because I can tell by podding with people, and I already played 3 shifts with you and I already know.
Offensively?
I think you can run a power play, but you also have about the tightest gap of any D going because you're that good of a skater. You're right up in their business. They don't like that shit. I don't like that shit. Back off. Give me some space. But that's what you do. You're right up in their gap because you're such a smooth skater, and you got a great first pass, and you run the power play. How'd I do?
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, thanks. I know.
It's good scouting.
I don't need to scout. I just need to pod and then see you skate 2 shifts, and then back spasms.
Actually,
back spasms, 2 beers, and I'm out of there. Great Wednesday, folks.
Great Wednesday. Wednesday at 9 p.m.
9 p.m. in Ripley. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't want to skate at all. I only wanted to show up to have the beers with the guys. I go out there, try and skate, and then I don't walk right for 2 weeks. So you got to Jacksonville. That's Florida?
It was, unbelievable.
Really?
Yeah.
You're in like flip-flops and shorts and.
Oh yeah, when I got there, it was probably March. It was hot, and like
you're hot. You get 18 points in 37 games too.
Yeah, no, I started playing big minutes. I got to Jacksonville, and the team there was just like we had a taxi squad when I got to Jacksonville. Like when I got there, I was like, wow, we have this many guys not playing. Like we had 10 guys just not playing every day. Like some guys only played 3 games and they were still there, working money, every day, making money. And I was just like, COVID's crazy. Like we're getting tested every day. We got random days. Like we can't even go to the rink because of COVID. So, but yeah, I know Jacksonville's great. And I have a feeling that'll be a big market in the coast, or I could see it being an American League team soon.
Right. So it's a good facility too.
Oh, the rink's like 15,000. It's crazy.
What rink's that for? Is it a basketball rink?
No, it's pure hockey rink. They got the hockey rink.
They made it for this East Coast team.
Yeah, and like concerts. The UFC was there when I was there. Like Machine Gun Kelly concert.
Oh, it's so much fun when your hockey team has a rink that does that stuff and you get to go to that shit. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Boy.
So like the Usman and Masvidal fight was there. If you remember that UFC
were you
fight.
There?
I was not. We were on the road, but our whole taxi squad got to go.
Yeah.
Won't tell anybody that they went, but we'll keep that hush hush.
Yeah.
They got to go.
Nobody cares now once the day's over.
Yeah, no. We were on the road, and like we're like our team, like big Machine Gun Kelly listeners and UFC guys, and both guys were there when we had to go on the road, and we were like, this sucks. But they just announced that they're building like I want to say like $4 million practice facility. Like this place, the pitchers, and they got the rink, the baseball field, and the Jaguar Stadium all beside each other on the river. And then their practice facility is going to be like close to the apartments because we drive like 25 minutes to get to the game rink.
Was this a new team in the coast?
I want to say it's like 5, maybe 6 years now.
Because once hockey players start talking, it doesn't take long for people to figure out where they want to be.
No, like like
if anybody
this
wants to know
summer-
where to go in Europe, just ask me. I got the answer, right?
yeah, like
it's pretty simple.
like this
Doesn't
summer I didn't
change.
know what I was doing, and I was like, I kind of like, if I'm gonna stay here, I'm like, I wasn't getting great offers to go over to Europe, so I was like, I might as well just stay here, have a full season, because I really haven't played a full season of like 72 games in pro yet.
Right.
So I was like, if I have to stay here, I'm not mad, but I want to go to Europe. That German citizenship thing happened, I was definitely going, but like my rights were in Toledo, and the whole summer I was just trying to get traded back to Jacksonville, and it didn't work out, and I ended up here, which is I'm happy about it.
Okay, so if you would have got back to Jacksonville, you would have stayed in North America. Is that what you're saying to me?
And at the time, I didn't have this Esberg deal.
I was gonna
This
say
thing wasn't a thing.
you
So
better,
like
once
once
I know it's Jacksonville and it's Florida, man, but there's a
No,
lot of
yeah,
places
no,
in the world the coast sucks.
yeah, no, it stinks. But like at the time, I didn't have a good enough offer to go over to Europe.
Yeah, no, I understand. And I'm going to give the listeners here some education today, just because I know about this shit. Is if you're getting a German passport, if you have lineage that goes up to your grandparents, you can get that, folks, free of charge and keep your Canadian. But if you stay in Germany for 7 years and play there and get your German pass, well, you get to give up your Canadian, and then you're just like everybody else when you want to come home. You're any other immigrant trying to get home, and I know some guys that are over there that are stuck there and want to come home, and they don't have their Canadian passport anymore. So getting it when you're your age through the way you're doing it makes a lot of sense. Getting it the other way, you might want to take a hard look in the mirror and where you want to be in 10 years, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's cool that you might be able to get that. But like Denmark, it is a good league too. And it's good hockey, skilled. And they're like, I don't think the salaries are that high unless things have changed, but like you're still making a decent living being a hockey player, right?
Yeah, like I'm making more here than I would make in the coast. So
there's no doubt about that. I sure hope so. If not, I'm gonna have to talk with a Monty.
Yeah. Hey David, I don't know what you're doing over here.
Yeah. I know you got a lot of players, but like let's get them paid here. But yeah, no. So who do you guys play next?
We play Odense tomorrow night, and then we got another big matchup against Esberg on Sunday. We just played them this past Sunday and actually beat them. So
okay, well, the Bulldogs, apparently the last guest, his best mate is the coach of the Bulldogs, Paul Thompson.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rumor has it, episode 100, Simsy says his best buddy's the coach there. He's a British guy coaching a Danish team. Weird world we live in, eh?
Yes, it is. It's just random.
But no, seriously, I don't know. Do you got anything else for me? The only thing I got is like, you kind of know how you decide to go to Europe, but like if it was me, I understand how it takes a couple of years with COVID and it's weird and you got to try the coast out first. But like, I'm personally glad you're there. Can't wait to see you get your German passport, and then just then we'll have you on. You'll have some German gal. 5 years later, you'll have a couple little kids speaking German, eating pretzels. It'll be weird.
It'll be great.
Seen this show before. But seriously, it's been nice getting to know you, and like now I know another guy around town, right? And like if I wouldn't have came out here and started hanging out with guys and talking hockey, I'd probably still see and be like, oh yeah, that's that other guy that plays hockey.
Yeah, he plays some kind of hockey somewhere where I didn't. So
well, I always keep an eye. Once like I knew your mom was a client of my wife's, and then like when you're driving around town and you've played at Western Michigan, and then all of a sudden you see like a sticker on a vehicle that says Fair State Hockey, you're like, huh, why is that on there?
Yeah. What is that doing in Kincardine, Ontario?
Yeah, and then you ask, and then people tell you, right? And like it's interesting because the Wolves, they're just dying for you to be done your career, right? And I'm like, well, it could happen someday, but I think he's got a solid 10 years left in him at least here. You're just starting to spread your wings. You get that German passport, shit, you'll be in a wheelchair and they'll be like, can you please play tonight?
No, it's actually funny. Like before I left, obviously season started like in Denmark, like they're 10 games deep, and I'm at home skating with Ripley Wolves, watching them play on the weekend. And the week leading up to their home opener, Meursy goes like, hey,
You want to play?
You want to play this weekend? I was like, you know what? Like, I kind of want to play, but like, if I get hurt, he said, you're not going to get hurt. I'm like, Meursy, if I get hurt, like, I'm not going anywhere for a bit. Like,
no, but it's interesting because like when I had Deeds on, Devin did he did that, right? He said he played 2 games for the Milverton 4-wheel drives back when he was in between contracts, and like it can happen. But funny thing is like when I'm working and Ron comes up to me and he's the coach of the Wolves and he says, hey, so this Ryker guy calls me and says he just got a call and he's just leaving. He's like, does that actually happen like that? I'm like, oh yeah. You get the call, it's go time.
It's go time. Like,
yeah, it's either you're doing it or you're not doing it. They ask you, you say yes or no, or they move on.
Like I remember obviously late night practice. I kind of got like cornered in the dressing room, like, hey, you're playing this weekend? I'm like, I can't, boys. Like, and I told Ron, I'm like, hey, if I get a phone call tomorrow, like I'm leaving the next day, probably. My flight is out of here. So it's like it happens so quickly. And I'd rather it happen quickly than sit around a couple of days and like, you know, like.
Oh, it all happens so fast in the hockey world when they're trying to get guys in and stuff. Like they wait a couple of days, you're missing a game, right? And like I remember when I was on the way to a AHL training camp and I get the call to go to Germany, and the vehicle took a hard U-turn and right to the airport.
Right to the airport, closest airport, your ticket, and you're out.
Smell you later, USA, Canada.
Yep. See you later. I'm never coming back.
But no, seriously, enjoy Denmark. Hopefully you find more to do. I had a little kid when I was in Voyance, so I didn't have that much options to get to do much, but hopefully there's some things to do for you this year. And then, you know, we'll let a Monty work on the paperwork there. And by next season, gonna be running amok in the DL, and I can't wait to see it.
You might see it, so I'm hoping that happens.
Well, maybe in the summer, you know, when you come home and now that we know each other, we can have some German lessons over a couple pops.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd love to come see the shed. It looks kind of cool in there.
It is.
I can see. Is that your jersey and your helmet there?
Yeah, that's the gold helmet, buddy. That's what you're playing for back there. That's the gold helmet over there.
I've heard all about that gold helmet. I need one bad.
You do need one because then you can walk your dog around town wearing it. You can go to the bars with it. You can do whatever you want.
It's a free pass to do whatever you like.
It's yours forever. But the other thing, before we shut it down though, reminder folks, please support Garrett and Jenna Muirs. They got a lot of expenses and can't work as usual. They got a 3-month-old and they could use our help. And it makes my heart want to explode that drinking beers in my shed with my friends or just talking hockey with people can actually help my buddies, and they're beauties. They're great people, and I would love to help them. And thank you for the support from everybody that's bought tickets. I think it's absolutely crazy, but it's actually probably the coolest thing that's ever happened, that I can help my friends by talking to people.
Yeah, it's awesome what you're doing there.
No, but seriously, good luck, man. And you got any questions while you're over there? If you need any help, if you need a good recommendation, whatever you need, I know some people.
Yeah, if I need some help with some German language or some Danish language, I'll be sure to reach out.
Yeah, and we'll get Skinny on next week, and then when you guys get home, I'll even know all the young punks in town, right?
Yeah, we'll get us three because it's the first summer. Us three are all gonna be home at the same time since Garrett's done with school now too. So yeah, we'll all be home. We'll have to make maybe a trio podcast.
There you go. Well, you got 3 young bucks coming up in the hockey world around here, folks. So
live all in the
great
shed.
Dudes. So make sure you give them big contracts and pay them lots of money. And this has been another episode of 2 L's and Hockey Tales with Killer and Wally.
Sounds good to me.
Nailed it.